let's get right to it. We'll start off with a sports betting story that broke yesterday, one of the bigger stories we've seen thus far in basketball. 3 players, Mykell Robinson, Steven Vasquez, and Jalen Weaver, were involved in an NCAA investigation into sports betting violations. They had played for Fresno State, with Vasquez transferring to San Jose State. It began after Fresno State had a sports betting integrity monitor flag, according to the NCAA. Robinson and Vasquez had been roommates, communicated via text in 2025 about Robinson intentionally underperforming in a game. They, along with a third party, placed $2,200 in bets on the underperformance, which resulted in $15,000 payout. And Robinson also placed 13 fantasy sports bets on his own performance. So keep an eye, of course, on that investigation. Also, by the way, 4 suspects have now been arrested in the shooting that involved Florida State linebacker Ethan Pritchard. He was ambushed and shot in the back of the head while dropping off family outside of an apartment in Havana, Florida. Back in August, they believe the shooting was mistaken identity. 3 of the suspects face multiple murder charges in terms of attempt, while the 4th was charged with a probation violation. All right, now let's go to the field. Quarterback situations are not getting any better in the National Football League. As soon as you got to go to a backup, you know you're in trouble. That is indeed the case with the San Francisco 49ers. Only saving grace is this week. They're going to play the Saints, but looks like Brock Purdy's going to miss multiple weeks. Mac Jones is going to start for the Saints this week, so we're going to see a major shift in the line. Although, Frank, I have not checked that. I saw 3.5 last check. San Francisco can't be the case, I think, going into New Orleans today. Tell me if they updated that, and I'll give that to you guys here on the show. Here's Kyle Shanahan without Kittle, without Purdy, and even more.
All right, injuries for today. Yetur will not practice, knee. McCaffrey will not practice, calf/vet day. Trent Williams won't practice, knee/vet day. Nick Bosa won't practice, vet day. Brock Purdy won't practice, left shoulder, toe. Juwan Jennings won't practice, shoulder. Jordan James, limited finger. Jordan Watkins, limited ankle. Ben Barch, limited knee and elbow. Go ahead.
Any further sense about whether Brock will be able to play on Sunday?
I think it's a long shot.
George Kittle's hamstring, is there any more details or just a...
No, that's going to be some time.
Is it possible that Purdy's injury could be a multi-week thing?
That's possible.
And that's the toe more so than the shoulder.
Yes.
The Purdy news broke about an hour ago. It looks like San Francisco still could be favorites going into the weekend in New Orleans, but I got to tell you, it will not be much. This could be a pick'em. All right, tonight, not the case in a pick'em. I've seen this line juggle a little bit, but right now the Packers are 3.5-point favorites. You know, some steam a little bit on the Commanders. This could go to 3 eventually, but right now you are laying the hook. Total 48.5. We'll have a preview of this game coming up. All right, Cowboys injuries. Let's get to the latest. We got Deron Bland, their great cornerback, going to be sidelined potentially for weeks. The Cowboys can ill afford to lose any players on defense, but that is indeed the case. How about Lamar Jackson? Did you see this clip over the weekend? He apologized to a fan for a shoving incident. A fan reached out, grabbed Lamar Jackson, and the fan essentially was grabbed back. Here's Lamar Jackson on that exchange.
John said that you had a lengthy discussion with Eric about the incident with the fan.
Yeah.
Not to share what was said, but have you heard from the league about that, and what's your reaction about that whole thing a few days later?
Yeah, Eric talked to me about it. I mean, I believe everyone seen what happened. Don't get me wrong, I didn't try to, it just happened. Like, I got pushed. I'm like, what? I thought I was like outside. I wasn't even thinking about me being out there on the field, but my apologies to that whoever that was. I don't know who it was. My apologies to him. Like, just chill next time. Just, you can talk trash and stuff, but keep your hands to yourself, man. That's all I can say.
Grabbing quarterbacks, a new thing in the NFL. All right, Malik Nabers had his issues apparently with Brian Daboll on the sidelines of that game with the Giants this past weekend. You may have seen a couple of clips with that. It looked like Daboll got over it pretty quick, and they were high-fiving each other. But here's Malik Nabers on what happened after or during the game.
Just 12 targets and 5 catches. Just not how I want to end the day off. I know everybody was more focused on just me overall being mad I wasn't getting the ball, and that wasn't at all what I was being, what I was concerned about. I had 12 targets, so why would I argue about getting the ball if I had 12 targets? But just overall, just how I played, and I don't think that why I was frustrated. Like I said, I was trying to get the offense going. I was trying to get people let's get rolling. You know, the lights was on, the game was on. You know, it's time to play. I feel like that just got pushed over. You know, and everybody was talking about just how I was have an attitude and stuff like that. It's just I got an NBF. I got a natural face. That's just what it is. Like, it's my face. I don't know. Like, when y'all talk to me, I look the same way every time. I don't know just how I am, but I guess I got to smile more.
Giants got to also play a little bit better. That would help him. All right, tonight a very good NC State team in college football takes on Wake Forest. They're 7.5-point favorites. Total of 52.5. We'll have this game covered for you tonight. In-game, live, game time decisions. One college football game this evening, several tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got some big ones coming up this weekend. Speaking of which, Missouri's quarterback after their big win after Kansas, Sam Horn, going to miss the rest of the season after leg surgery. He was hurt in the 25th ranked season opener of the August 28th game. It was the great game that the Tigers played, and needless, they're going to need another quarterback moving forward. Wisconsin's quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. not going to play against Alabama. That line has moved, tied up to 20.5-point favorites. But the last time the Tide were 20-point favorites, or close to it, they lost. Meanwhile, Ryan Williams, their great wide receiver, is going to play this week against Wisconsin. That's who they are favored against. All right, over to Major League Baseball we go. The Detroit Tigers cruising toward the postseason. I'll see them this weekend here in South Florida. They scored 5 runs in the 8th inning for their second straight blowout of the Yankees, 11-1. They lost by 10 runs for the third time ever in back-to-back games. Boy, we've heard from Aaron Boone a lot this season, haven't we? All right, let's do it one more time.
Yeah, I thought Carlos obviously threw the ball well, gave us a 6 strong there. Just didn't get much going offensively, and then kind of chipped away there that inning. Doval comes in and gets a couple big outs after Mark got the strikeout. And then just obviously got away from us there in the in the 8th when Camilo went back out. So these nights are frustrating, obviously. But it's that time of year we gotta get over it and get ready for tomorrow. But obviously they've been able to really add on late in some close games early.
Astros get the 200th home run from Carlos Correa on their way to beating the Blue Jays 3-2. Maybe that's a postseason matchup. We'll find out. How about the right now, I would say the Texas Rangers' hottest team in baseball. Fair to say. They beat the Brewers yesterday 6-3. Jake Berger is back. He homered twice yesterday for them. Speaking of back, the Dodgers got their healthy pitcher back. Blake Snell, 11 strikeouts. The Dodgers sweep the Rockies. That's not a surprise. Welcome back to Newswire here on SportsGrid. Some big news from golf, by the way, today as well, as Greg Norman stepping down from LIV Golf. He, of course, was the first one to get on board with LIV Golf, came under a lot of pressure and a lot of controversy from leaving the PGA Tour and jumping into that. But Norman bowing out. LIV Golf, unfortunately, folks, could be on the way out as well. We'll see. All right, now let's get to a big sports betting story of the day. 3 men's basketball players have been banned for gambling. That's right. Mykell Robinson, Steven Vasquez, Jalen Weaver, probably never heard of them, me either. They were involved in an NCAA investigation tied to sports betting violations. They all played for Fresno State. Eventually, Vasquez transferred to San Jose State. The investigation began after Fresno State and the Sports Betting Integrity Monitor flagged suspicious prop bets that involved the player named Robinson. According to the NCAA, Robinson and Vasquez, they were roommates. They communicated via text in January about Robinson intentionally underperforming in a game that he was playing in, along with a third party placing $2,200 in bets on the underperformance, resulting in a $15,000 payout. He also played fantasy sports as well. You know the deal with sports betting and players. If you bet and you get caught, you're done, and these players will be done. No question about that. All right, now let's move over to the National Football League. Some key injuries in the NFL. We went over the 49ers ones. Now let's get to the Cowboys. Deron Bland, he's going to be out several weeks with a foot injury, so count him out for the Cowboys' upcoming game this weekend. Did you see the video of Lamar Jackson walking off the field and getting grabbed, and then all of a sudden the fan getting grabbed? Jackson, probably didn't expect that to happen at the end of the game and reacted as probably most would. Here is he on the reaction to the fan grabbing him at the end of their game against the Cleveland Browns, or the Buffalo Bills, sorry.
John said that you had a lengthy discussion with Eric about the incident with the fan.
Yeah.
Not to share what was said, but Have you heard from the league about that, and what's your reaction about that whole thing a few days later?
Yeah, Eric talked to me about it. Yeah, but I mean, I believe everyone seen what happened. Don't get me wrong, I didn't try to, it just happened. Like, I got pushed. I'm like, what? I thought I was like outside. I wasn't even thinking about me being out there on the field, but my apologies to that whoever that was. I don't know who it was. My apologies to him. Like, just chill next time. Just, you can talk trash and stuff, but keep your hands to yourself, man. That's all I can say.
No punches exchanged there, and also none between Malik Nabers and his head coach Brian Dable in New York, although they did appear to get into it on the sideline and then got over it pretty quickly. It looked like Dable and Nabers were hugging it out, but Nabers for the first time addressing that, let's call, mini incident in their game this past Sunday.
Just 12 targets and 5 catches. Just not how I want to end the day off. I know everybody was more focused on just me overall being mad I wasn't getting the ball. And that wasn't at all what I was being, what I was concerned about. I had 12 targets, so why would I argue about getting the ball if I had 12 targets? But, just overall, just how I played. And I don't think that why I was frustrated. Like I said, I was trying to get the offense going. I was trying to get people to let's get rolling. The lights was on, the game was on. It's time to play. I feel like that just got pushed over, and everybody was talking about just how I was have an attitude and stuff like that. It's just I got an NBF. I got a natural face. That's just what it is. Like, it's my face. I don't know. Like, when y'all talk to me, I look the same way every time. I don't know just how I am, but I guess I got a small one.
Let's get to some college football. We've got one game tonight. The big one is between NC State and Wake Forest. Of course, NC State supposed to be better than Wake Forest this season, as the spread would indicate. A total of 52.5. That's a 7:30 p.m. Eastern game, so it'll start about a half hour before the NFL game tonight. Meanwhile, Missouri has lost their starting quarterback, Sam Horn. He'll be out the rest of the season after leg surgery. He was injured in the first game of the season for Missouri. And, of course, they beat Kansas last week, so good start for them. Boy, Wisconsin's in some trouble. Their quarterback, Billy Edwards Jr., not going to play against Alabama. They were already big underdogs in this one. Looks like about 20 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. And also Ryan Williams, the Crimson Tide young wide receiver, is going to be back, and he'll be playing against the University of Wisconsin coming up this weekend.